Coming up on First at 4, North Carolina Republicans make changes to an abortion bill right before the vote. We take a look at what they changed. And President Joe Biden decides to spend big on electric vehicles. How that decision impacts Kentuckians coming up.
Plus, we continue to watch the potential for showers through the region, but a brief break's on the way. I'm breaking it down coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts right now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon. I'm Olivia Calfee. First at 4, with just days before North Carolina's new abortion law goes into effect, Republicans have made changes to the bill. As Laura Leslie reports, this comes as a judge weighs whether to block the law from being implemented amid a pending lawsuit.
The changes rolled out today would make it clear that medication abortion is legal in North Carolina for the first 12 weeks of a pregnancy. The law currently says medication abortion can legally be used only in the first 70 days, which is 10 weeks. Senator Ralph Hise said 12 weeks was the intent all along. He described the change as just a minor tweak.
And I don't know that 13-day difference is any substantive change.
Hise claimed to be unfamiliar with the Planned Parenthood lawsuit. However, the changes the Senate voted on today match up closely with the various mistakes and inconsistencies that lawsuit points out.
Objection.
Democrats only had 15 minutes to look at the changes before voting on them. Senator Sidney Batch wasn't surprised Republicans are in a hurry to pass them.
This is a situation in which they know right now that there's litigation going on and an emergency hearing has been called for next week.
Batch said Democrats pointed out all those problems before the law passed, but Republican leaders refused to make changes.
Do you think they're just hoping that this will keep the judge from blocking it?
I can't speak to what their thoughts are, but if I were on their side, I absolutely would do this because it would actually address the issue with regards to the stay.
The Senate is set to have a final vote on the bill Monday. Then it would go to the House for approval before heading to the governor's desk. President Biden is rallying with abortion rights groups, marking 1 year since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The president is using the occasion to issue a new executive order. Supporters say the order strengthens access to birth control pills through the Affordable Care Act, Medicare, and Medicaid services. It also tries to ensure access to pills for veterans and service members through other federal programs.
Contraception has become more important than ever following the Supreme Court's decision and ensuing crisis for women's health.
The cause of life is the calling of our time, and we must not rest and must not relent until we restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law.
In a new CBS News poll, 57% of Americans surveyed said the overturn of Roe v. Wade has been mostly bad for the country.
Well, sunshine in some parts of the region, clouds and showers, even a few thunderstorms in others. Here's the view now from our Buffalo Mountain camera there in parts of Perry County. It was looking a little more ominous a few minutes ago. You could see some of the downpours in the distance from this camera. 72 here in Perry County. A lot of us stay in the low to mid 70s out there. We should be about 84 a high this time of year. Wise is 20 degrees cooler than that. Grundy, 10 degrees cooler than that, as is Manchester and Prestonsburg. So we'll continue to see the cooler than average temperatures last as we head through the evening. Watched a few downpours go up this afternoon. Right now, many of them concentrated in parts of the Big Sandy in southwest Virginia. One on the Dickinson-Buchanan County line, one in the northern parts of Pike County. That's going to be heading toward Williamson and South Williamson over the next little bit. Another downpour to the south and west of Whitesburg. Everything here is moving off to the east as is usual for this time of year. Finally, through the next 12 hours, we're slowly going to drop those temperatures back into the mid-60s, but they don't get much cooler than that as we watch a weekend warm-up. In fact, as we head through the next few days, we're going to watch those spotty storms today. Chances diminish later tonight. More spotty storms possible tomorrow afternoon. We're hot and muggy on Sunday before the potential for strong to severe storms moves in late Sunday night. I'll detail it all coming up in a few minutes. Olivia?
All right. Thank you, Evan. Ford is revving up its electric vehicle production, and it's agreed to a $9.2 billion conditional loan from the U.S. government to fund the effort. Ford and its South Korean battery manufacturing partner SK On signed off on the loan from U.S. Department of Energy as part of President Biden's push to bring more EV production stateside. The joint venture would use the funds to build 3 electric vehicle battery plants, 2 in Kentucky and 1 in Tennessee. A 2-day climate and finance summit wrapped up today in Paris as leaders aim to set up concrete measures to developing countries better tackle the climate crisis. French president has pledged to deliver a to-do list along with a progress tracking tool. Several activists have urged the summit to ensure that rich countries commit to debt relief for poor nations. The debt suspension clause for countries hit by extreme climate events was also discussed. While climate finances are being discussed in Paris, Beijing set a new heat record for the month of June at 105 degrees Fahrenheit. But Beijing wasn't alone. Several other locations across northern China also hit record highs for June. A few cities even set records for any month of the year, and temperatures are expected to remain well above average over the weekend. Australia has a chance to fix its image as a global outlier by voting in favor of constitutionally recognizing its Indigenous people. Australians will be asked to vote later this year on whether they support changing the Constitution to include an Indigenous committee that can advise the Parliament on matters affecting its Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people.
And it's taken us a lot of time and energy to get to here, and we still are hopeful. I mean, the message, the Uluru Statement, is a gift to the Australian people, and it's a gift of hope.
Aboriginal people track below national averages on most socioeconomic measures and are not mentioned in the Constitution. They were marginalized by British colonial rulers and not granted full voting rights until the 1960s. Coming up on First at 4, the Titanic explorer's missing sub was found and what the Coast Guard are saying so far.
Plus, some heavy rain potential continues tonight before a brief break moves in this weekend. I'm tracking the latest that includes strong storm chances later this weekend after this.